Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. This morning we're going to make some coconut almond cookies, and I guess having the smoothie this morning with the coconut oil in it kind of gave me a taste for some coconut. And I ground up some raw almonds, and these were some of the raw almonds I got from Nuts Incorporated. And so we're going to use a half a cup of that. Alright, so let's get going here with this. Alright, now I'm going to use some coconut oil, and I'm using the one I got from Walmart. This is the one I'm using, just for the baking. Now I'm doing that instead of butter, so we're trying to get a little healthier. The first thing you'll need is 1 cup of sugar. Put that in the bowl, and into there I'm going to dump the coconut oil. Now I melted this for just a few seconds in the microwave, and then I set it down in some warm water, just like this. See that bowl? Got some just water from the faucet. Alright, so because otherwise at room temperature it kind of gets hard, but it will melt at 76 degrees. So I'm going to get that mixed in with my butter, and that's 1/2 cup. Just get it mixed in with the butter. Excuse me, with the sugar. See, I'm thinking butter. I'm still thinking butter. I always think butter to do with cookies. Alright, so to this I'm going to add 1 large egg. Just beat that in with that coconut oil and the sugar. Get that mixed up pretty good. Alright. That's probably good enough right there. Now from here on out, I'm going to have to use the spatula because it would be too hard to mix up. So to this mixture I'm going to add 1 cup of self-rising flour, and I'm using self-rising so I don't have to measure out baking soda, baking powder, and salt. It's already in the self-rising flour, so that's 1 cup. You do want to sift that before you measure it. So just get that all mixed in. And we're going to bake these cookies at 375 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. And I am going to use some parchment paper on my baking sheet. Now with my new, they're really jelly roll sheets from Norpro, I have to bake them on the bottom rack of the oven because the pan is pretty thick on the bottom. But on just a regular dark baking sheet, you would make it, bake them in the middle of the oven. Alright, so that's our flour, sugar, oil, the coconut oil, and 1 egg. So it's pretty well mixed now. So I'm going to add to that the ground almonds, and I ground up part of these myself, and some of them were still left over from what I got at Whole Foods Market. So they're just sort of rough ground, kind of like crunchy peanut butter, really. I mean, there are no really big pieces of almond in there. And of course the almonds have oil in them also. So we're going to mix that in. And it gets a little difficult now. Just mix that in as good as you can get it mixed in. Alright, so now we're going to use the coconut. So this is actually 2 cups of coconut, and what I did there, it comes from 2 packs of just that regular Great Value bread in Walmart, which I always keep in the freezer, but I ground it up in my Vitamix so it's much finer ground now. So I'm going to dump that in, and this is going to be very difficult to get this mixed up. but the end result will be very nice. Just mix that in really good. And obviously you can't use a mixer on this because it's way too hard to mix up with a mixer. Okay, and so it smells absolutely divine. These are going to sort of be a cross between the texture of a coconut macaroon and, I don't know, peanut butter cookie maybe. Sort of a cross between the two. Alright, so I'm going to use my hands now. Get that thoroughly mixed up. There's a lot of oil in there. And the flour and the egg kind of hold everything together. Alright, if you didn't have the egg or the flour in there, you just could eat it like that. It'd be very, very good. Alright, so that's good enough. Alright, so now we're ready to put it on the cookie sheet. And I've got my cookie sheet lined with some parchment paper. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I need to go wash my hand off. It's really greasy, so hold on. Alright, so we're ready to dip the cookies out on the cookie sheet. And I just go ahead and try to kind of round them out. And this is a little melon scooper. Just try to round them out. You're really looking for kind of like little balls, you know? Mash them in there. These cookies are mostly ground almonds and coconut. And the egg and the flour just kind of hold everything together, really. Just maybe rounding those out a little better. Alright, we're about ready to put this first batch in the oven. Alright, so now what I want to do is just take a fork and mash these down. Sort of stay in a rounded shape, kind of like you would if you were making peanut butter cookies. Now these, with the coconut all kind of ground up a lot finer, to me they're a lot easier to eat and the coconut doesn't get all in your teeth. So we're going to go ahead and bake these at 375 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes, or depending on your oven, more or less. Alright, we'll be back in just a little while. Alright, these are the last of the cookies, and I've just taken them out of the oven and let them sit here just a minute or so on the baking sheet. Now, I had to cook mine for 15 minutes at 375 degrees because I'm using these jelly roll pins, which are actually thicker on the bottom than a normal cookie sheet would be. So you would have to adjust your time according to your cookie sheet and according to your oven. So again, I bake these 15 minutes at 375 degrees. And they are a chewy cookie, sort of crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside, and I think they're pretty healthy as far as cookies go, because they've got a lot of coconut in them, and they've got the ground almonds in them. Oh, that one burned me. So, and Mr. Bucky and I have already had a couple of these. All right, so there they are. And I'm going to call these Chewy coconut almond cookies. All right, we'll see y'all next time.